Hey beautifuls, Hannah here, of course. However, if this is your first time to my live stream, please comment below, let me know where you're from. Let me know where you're tuning into from around the world, and let me know how cold it is where you are, or warm, because I've like moved into this room so I'm warm because it's supposed to be 4 degrees tonight or tomorrow morning, and I'm like, 4? That's a little bit cold for Queensland, isn't it? Isn't it a little bit cold for Queensland? All right. As always, I'm going to share this and we shall get started on something that I'm a little bit scared to talk about. So I'm a little bit nervous, but at the same time, I'm not. I am and I'm not, because this is something I've always known deep in my heart, deep in my beingness, deep in the reason that I'm here, deep in all the things, and in essence of reclaiming my voice, reclaiming who I am, owning who I am, stepping into who I am, being unapologetically me. This is what I get to talk about. I've got this. Thank you, Tamara. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let me share this. And then I shall be present. And I'm going to do some psychic readings, of course. Hi, Christy. Okay. It's okay. It's okay. Everything's going to be all right. That's not even the tone of it, is it? Oh dear. Okay, that is shared. Let me bring up these comments so we can see what's going on. Seeing as though I'm in here and my laptop and phone aren't gonna die. Yes, for sure, Kirsty. Do replay later. Hi, Jody. Hi, Catherine. Hi, Robinson. Hi, Alan. Hi, Lee. Yes, lots of beautiful people here. Thank you. I got this. I do. And when I really step into this beautiful frequency, this beautiful energy, it's like, that's the thing that I want to say I've been chasing all along, or I want to say I've been chasing all along. It's been there all along. It's been inside of me all this time. And I've been holding back all this time. I've been scared about what people will think. I've been scared about people leaving me. I've been scared about the people closest to me, my clients, my tribe, my followers, all of you guys. I've been so scared about it, and yet this is like my destiny. This is my life path. This is a big part of who I am, and if I don't talk about it, like in meditation this morning, it was like, you have to talk about me. And I'm like, okay. Okay, I will talk about you. And I'm like, it's also a no-brainer for me. And some of the things that I see, I'm like, why would you even, right? Why would you even? So, hi, beautiful, speak your truth. Yes, that's right. And it's interesting because, you know, like we're coming through ear chakra consciousness, starting to drop into throat chakra in Transcendence Reality Society, so it's kind of no-brainer in a way, right? That I'm like, okay, really need to, like, I want to say speak my truth. This is about living it, yeah? So the thing that I'm really talking about here is money. And not just money, this is wealth. This is a level of living. This is a lifestyle. This is, you know, something that has always drawn my heart. And I've been scared to talk about it. Now, if you knew me like many years ago, way back when I first started live streaming, it is all I used to talk about. Super yachts, mansions, you know, money, all of that. And a lot of people would be like, you don't need to like talk about that. And you don't need to like, you know, like all these things. And I realized, just like I've been sharing recently on live streams, until I had my snake fixed and the tongue redone, I'm able to speak my truth now, and it feels like a more embodied part of me or something. So I had to go through everything I went through, yes. But I feel like I'm really starting to understand a big part of what I'm doing, and the big reason of like what's been holding me back. I've been holding myself back. I've been putting my own cap on myself because I didn't want to outshine you guys. I didn't want to lose you guys. I didn't want to like think that, oh, talking about money isn't spiritual. Like all this stuff, like, you know, and it's not like I consciously would say that to myself, but after the past like week, these big shifts, and then a huge shift like on the 3-day window of this total solar eclipse, like this fire eclipse that we've got going on, right? Who's feeling that eclipse energy? Like who's like on fire, or like there's parts of you just like busting out, and parts of you that are like really wanting to be heard, and parts of you that are needing to be owned, right? Like who's really feeling that energy right now? Yeah. So Leah says, I knew there was a reason I was led to come on here. Everything you're saying is so accurate. Yes, yes. So when I like, you know, look at this big thing of, you know, I'm really excited about talking about Money Honey. It's my masterclass coming up in roughly about 2 weeks, and the investment is increasing on Friday night. So it's 55 at the moment. It's increasing to 111 on Saturday, Australian Eastern Standard Time. And this is where I've been guided to talk about the 10 key factors, the 10 keys to what I've done in building my wealth online, in, you know, because it's not just like putting a course out here and there. It's not about attracting the clients. Like when I first started learning about money, and, you know, there's a difference between money, there's a difference between wealth, there's a difference between fortune, right? They're all different words that all mean different things, that all anchor different foundations in your life with what you're doing, with what you're building. And a lot of people stay stuck because they're not interested in learning about it, but it's the very thing that allows everybody to stop them. Like it's like, you know, if it all comes back to it, it's one of the biggest things that it stops people, right? So yeah, so Kelly said that is my fear, right? Money, yes, people leaving me. Yeah, exactly, right? And I'd been holding this without even realizing it, yeah? And I'd even put this cap on myself that I didn't want to outshine my mentors. Like, you know, like the mentors that I've had over the years, like I even been in a multi-million-dollar mastermind for the past 3 years, and I've had a cap on my own limits and abilities, even though I've known that I'm meant for more, because I didn't want to outshine my mentors. Like, what? That was probably like the biggest realization yesterday, right? So Troy says, he feels my energy, it's a huge matter. Yeah, it's a huge deal, right? And so because I've been like capping myself, yeah, because I've been capping myself, keeping myself small, dimming my light, if you may, right? When I have been doing this, everything has been an issue. Everything has been an issue, but the very thing that's been holding me back is my own limitations and beliefs about myself, and what I thought other people were going to do around me. It was such a subconscious thing. And if you look at like deep in the codependency, or deep in the people pleaser role, or deep in that childhood wounding, who is like so desperately in need of like the mother or father's like approval and validation, like that's really where I've been in every area of my life. And even though I say I want all these beautiful things, and I want to live a luxurious lifestyle, and, you know, have all this, you know, not have to worry about, you know, money in my bank account, which I don't now, you know, like all these things, it's really at a piece where shifting to my next level, I've been capping my own self. And the biggest piece has been like me capping out on my own mentors. Kelly says, I'm holding me back. Exactly, like, you know what I mean? And I want to say, we can really, and I'm really seeing it in some people at the moment, right? And I'm like, I'm seeing it because that's what I've just used to do. Like, I've just stepped out of that. I'm just like, wow, this is a total different shift. This is a total different energy. This is a total different, I'm really seeing clearly now. And check it out, we're in third eye chakra week. I find it so funny. I'm like seeing clearly now in the third eye chakra week, seeing the relationship that I've had with myself, seeing the relationship I've had with money, seeing the relationship I've had with other people that have put the cap on myself because I don't want to lose the relationship with them. Like, intense, right? Intense. So when we really look at this piece around, you know, understanding, you know, when I started to learn about money, and yes, there's a big piece about mindset, but the biggest piece is your frequency, is your energy, and what's inside of you. Now, I've heard this so often. And then the other big piece around what I've been seeing in other people and what I've just stepped out of, I guess, and had this big shift and realized is that I've been capping my own self. Like, I've felt the cap, right? I really have felt that cap. But I honestly was still projecting it at other people. But it's come from myself, right? I didn't want to outshine those people. I've got massive goals, massive dreams, huge like things. And at times, a lot of the time, I've questioned them. Because people around me, I want to say, have brought me down, or I've shared what what my heart desires with them. And I didn't get the response that I was expecting from them, not even realizing that I was needing had a certain expectation on their response, if that makes sense, right? So I would share something, they would kind of shut me down or completely blatantly ignore what I've just said, right? And I would be like, oh, and I didn't even realize I was expecting like encouragement or support or like, you can do this or whatever. I didn't even realize I was like needing that from them, like needing that validation. And so in that, I was like doubting my own dreams and desires, doubting my next level, doubting my next money goal, doubting whatever, right? But it comes into a sense where I've been capping my own self out because I was still looking for the validation outside of me without even realizing it. And that was almost a cap in itself, right? Now, maybe that is a reflection of the people I've had around me, and the doubt around my next goal is because I can feel they're like not in alignment with it anyway. Does that make sense? And when it comes back to this like alignment piece, like that's been really big for me lately. Like everything that I've been shifting recently is a big piece in like, I am not going to be around or not put myself in environments where people, I know that they're not in alignment with me. That comes with like a deep recalibration, and it does come with, I want to say, trial and error. That's a skill, that's a mastery, definitely, right? And so when I really look at what it has been that has held me back, it is this cap that I've put on myself. The thing that I've been seeing in other people is that when we are judging people and brushing it off as like, nah, I don't need that, or whatever it is, or like, nah, that's not for me. Like when there's like a big, like, I want to say rant about it, actually that is what our heart is desiring, and we've just kind of like cut it off. We've literally just cut it off from ourselves, cut it off from energy, shut down our own heart, right? So it's really interesting when we look at, we're like, nah, there's a difference between a reactive nah to actually like my heart's been desiring that. And how come I'm not there yet? How come I'm not understanding that? How, and the piece that I've really dropped into is the frequency aspect around, there's a difference between money mindset, goal setting, having a clarity around your finances, understanding your next level, expanding into that next level, and actually understanding, I want to say, frequency, energy, alignment, because it isn't about trying to figure it out. When we have like our biggest months ever, or when we see, people have like multi-million-dollar weeks, that doesn't come from a mindset of a money goal. That comes from a frequency and an energy of a deep alignment to what's real in your heart, to what you're being guided to do. And when you judge it off or flick it off, or you try and figure out the how, that's when you're going to be in a judgmental space. That's when you're going to be in a reactive space, because our mind can't understand that frequency. Our mind can't understand. I always say our mind does never understand intuition. It never will. And that's why so many people shut down their intuition. That's why so many people shut that down, because the mind is like heart's desires and intuition's like, yeah. And the mind's like, but how? It's like the biggest thing that stops people, right? Then followed by money. They use the money excuse. It's never about the money. It's never about, you know, the misalignment. It's always a shutdown of your own heart's desires. So the piece that I've been scared about is simply to even talk about money, to talk about alignment, to talk about desires, to talk about heart, which ultimately always comes back to intuition. And it's interesting, when I was like, got the message from money this morning, it was like, talk about me, love on me, breathe me, be me. And I'm like, what? To realize that I've been scared to talk about money is showing me how much I've been scared of money. Kind of interesting, right? So my money honey is coming up. Like, if you really want to shift your wealth consciousness, if you want to shift your reality, most people are like, yeah, I want to change. Oh, but money stops me. But they don't blink an eye when they go down to the bottle and buy that bottle of wine. It's never about the money. As I said in Transcendence Reality Society last night, I was like, it's never about the money. It's the fact that they're not ready to heal, right? You can change those words to like, I'm not ready to heal. Like if somebody says, I can't afford it, right? And there's so much I want to talk about even just those words in itself, right? I can't afford it is like the biggest block to reality ever. And I'm going to go deep into all of this in my money masterclass, because there's so many like little pieces of gold that will ultimately change your reality, right? Just from these 10 key factors, if you really implement them in your life. So the money masterclass, the money honey masterclass, starts in 2 weeks. It's $55 now, Friday midnight. So in about 48 hours from now, the investment's increasing to 111. So send me a message or comment money below if you'd like the link for that. Going to go into all these details, right? But when somebody says I can't afford it, you can change those words in yourself going, I'm not ready to heal. That's what they're really saying to you. Or I'm not ready to change, because that's what they're really saying to you, right? I had someone comment on my post the other day, and she's like, I don't know, I can't even remember what I posted about now, but she's like, oh, you know, if you want to move, Hannah, you better do it now quick, because, you know, the market's increasing so much on the Sunshine Coast. You want to get in quick before it increases. And I'm like, or she said, before you miss out or something, or like it was something about money, you know, or it's going crazy, the rental market's going crazy. And I'm like, I'm not basing my moving house on like quick, gonna miss out on the house, or it's gonna like increase. Like, I don't even, that's not even coming into it, right? It's not like, I don't base my decisions in my life around whether I can afford it or not. It's 55 US, so probably about 70 roughly Australian, something like that. Yeah. So when we look at like those sort of aspects, there's so many little tidbits that have literally changed my life. And as I've said on the sales page on there, you know, like someone had sent me a message not long after moving to this place in the like local community, and I didn't realize that she lived out here. And it was like many years ago. Obviously we had a Facebook chat, because I went back through, you know, when somebody sends you a message and you haven't, you know, you're like, oh, who's this person? Or you haven't spoken to them for a while, and you see the chat history and it's like from 2 or 3 years ago, and you're like, oh, I remember this conversation. Have you ever had that before on like Facebook or something like that? And when, you know, like I looked at that conversation, like she was inviting me to a full moon ceremony dance, and this would have been like, I think it was like 2014 or something like that. And the conversation was from, and I was like, oh, I would come, but money. Like, I was looking through this conversation in shock and in horror. And I was like, did I really say this? Like, was I really using that excuse about going, using money? Like, it wasn't even the excuse. It was like $40. That's like nothing, right? It's like, and it's the thing, it wasn't about that. It was like, I didn't really trust that environment. I didn't really want to go to that place. Like, but I used that as the excuse. And this like aspect around using those things blocks every other area of your life. Like, you don't even realize the effect that it has on every other area of your life, right? So I'm going to go into details about this on Money Honey. And then also yesterday, you might have seen like transcendence. We're going deep into transcendence. So transcendence is my 6-week program that literally lifts trauma out of your system. If you're tired of going around in circles, if you've tried every other modality, transcendence literally shifts your frequency out of that dark mother grid. Like you might have seen the removal of the dark mother grid. That is just one aspect from transcendence, yeah? So transcendence is different to Transcendence Reality Society. Transcendence Reality Society is the inner circle. You get access to all meditations, get exclusive trainings in that group. You also get access to any course that I've released. So you can jump in the inner circle, or you can just join Transcendence, which is the 6-week program that starts, we're starting next Friday week or Thursday week, depending on where you are in the world. And transcendence literally came through at the end of last year when we were deep in that heavy energy, that dark energy. September, October last year was pretty heavy for a lot of people, and then it kind of got heavier in November. Transcendence is literally transcending the energy. Transcendence literally lifted us up, and it shifts your frequency. So sometimes you can like release trauma from your system, but you're not shifting your frequency at the same time. You just literally release that heavy stuff out, right? Transcendence literally lifts and changes your frequency. It's pretty big and it's pretty deep. There's stuff to do every day in that course, right? So transcendence is literally a pretty solid working course, but if you apply everything we do, there's weekly live streams where we get live channeled activations, live shifts. Like if you're ready to release trauma out of your system and shift your frequency and shift your life, transcendence is for you. So Lena says, can't wait for transcendence. Yes. So Catherine's asking, how much is transcendence? Transcendence early bird is $397 and it jumps to $555 on Friday as well. So both Money Honey and Transcendence investment is increasing this Friday night, Australian Eastern Standard Time, and Transcendence will then go to $555, but we're starting Friday week. So we're starting pretty quickly because when I got the message in the download yesterday, I was like, right. And obviously downloading that, I trust follow through, and I'm just like, oh my God, thank goodness we're doing that. It's also really interesting, you know, I always talk about these 9-month cycles, these 18-month cycles, and when we work with, when Transcendence came through, it was like September, October, and when we're starting Transcendence now, another round of it, it's on like the 9-10 month birthing portal from when we first began. Now, Transcendence deeply gets you clear on the next 12 years of your life. So if you're really wanting to change your life, this is actually shifting your frequency, jumping to the next vibration and frequency, and allowing yourself to really transcend reality out of all the fear, the trauma, and all the lockdown stuff going on in this world. If you're feeling locked down, if you're over it, this actually shifts your vibration. I want to say so you're not part of it. Of course we're still in it, but you change, and therefore your reality changes about it. Right? If you're scared about the government control, if you're scared about the, the AI and all this stuff, this is the one for you, right? Because AI isn't going away. It's part of our reality now, and a big part of our reality now, right? So yes, that's okay. Read your spelling. I can understand what you're talking about there. All right. So hi, Leanne. Hi, everybody jumping on. Okay. So I pulled a card before as I was talking, and it's the acceptance card, and acceptance of what I'm speaking about, acceptance of really coming into that. And I feel really, I guess, grateful to really want to say accept that within myself, because, you know, like I guess there has been definitely as well that part of me that's been scared to talk about it because, oh, well, it's not spiritual. And I'm like, man, like that's just like the biggest fallacy in the world, you know. It's like, yeah, so I'm really excited that I've been able to like shift that. So acceptance and energy work's definitely what I've been doing, but this big eclipse that's going on now, oh my goodness, what a transformational time. And we're on the dark moon, releasing the dark mother. Very, very powerful energies to be releasing all of this, and that we're starting transcendence as we move to that full moon. Plus you get access to the 2 full moon ceremonies in there as well. All right. Who would like a psychic reading? Comment yes, please, below, and let's see who comes through. Oh, and check out my water bottle that I just got. Abundance. How transcending energy is that? So freaking incredible, right? I love that so much. So much, yes. All right, Natasha. Perfect timing. So Natasha, this card is for you. Now is the perfect moment for you to act on your inspirations. The doors are open while you walk through them with us by your side. Don't delay or procrastinate, as all the ingredients are right for your success. Everything and everyone is on your side, supporting a positive outcome and then steady progress. Now you are in Transcendence Reality Society, you're in the inner circle, and I know a little bit of your history there, so I feel like this is confirmation of the avenue that you've just stepped up to do. You've just joined the inner circle recently and you've been supported in that, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, by receiving a job as well at the same time. I feel that this is also related to, I think we spoke about this in the gateway, I think, for Transcendence Reality Society for the inner circle, about working on, like, I think it was exercise as well, and then but also working on your purpose even though you've got a job. Like, do you know what I mean? It was like integrate, balance, and then get into a groove with now working, and then also you know, working on your, like, you know, like your new job and the energies, right? So this is like confirming that. But when it says don't delay or procrastinate, as all the ingredients are right for your success, that alongside steady progress, I feel is the definite like drop in to being able to what's the word, like, this is enabling you, the steady progress, to be working on your purpose work as well. You know what I mean? Like I said, like, adjust to the energies, get used to working again because you haven't been. Once that has like balanced out, then like work on your purpose work. Like I said, like dedicate a day or week or time before work or after work or anything like that. So yeah, really getting that really strongly for you. So that's your card there, yeah. All right, so another round of yes pleases. So Lavelle said, how do I get a reading? So when I ask, would you like a reading or another round of yes pleases, if you can type in yes please Hannah, or yes I'd love a reading, or yes, and I will scroll through the list that comes up of the names. And you just have to stay live for the reading. So you can't say yes and then disappear off the live stream, because that's, it's just not fair for the people who are live. All right, so Lena, going to get you a message in the card. Lena, a new dawn. The worst is now behind you and positive new experiences are on the horizon. So I think I spoke to you and you're just like, there's been lots of change. I think you guys are in lockdown, aren't you? And so you've been like readjusting. And I think you said that there's been some grief coming through. So I guess I feel like this is a positive message for you. This is a new dawn. So whatever it is you've been grieving about, the friendship card is at the bottom. And I feel like I'm covered in goosebumps as I say this. This is a readjustment to the relationships in your life. This is a readjustment to actually what's been going on for you. This is a readjustment. The new dawn, I feel, is symbolizing the new direction. The new dawn is symbolizing, like, I just feel like it's a whole new web, right? Whatever's dropped out of your field, is it a friend, is it relationship, a new dawn, like this is like a whole new web, like those relationships, that relationship, that wasn't in your highest good. And sometimes we know that, but the grief is like, you know, and I just feel like this has been, you know, like a real deep separation, but it's because the paradigm is different, you know, like you've stepped into a different paradigm. You're not that person. You're not, do you know what I mean? I don't know how to describe it any other way than that. And so I feel like the level of grief is because it's an old paradigm dropping away, not just the relationship, not just the friendship. And it feels like that past life that you've had over and over and over again, that's complete now. Like, you don't need to repeat that pattern, that cycle. Like, that's dropped away. That's not happening ever again. Like, that's because of the work you've done, but also the level of I want to say frequency shift that you've gone through, and I want to say the life that you've chosen. Oh look, I just put those cards back and then I just looked at the bottom card again of it, you know, because I shuffled them, and it's time to move on. It's time to let go of the old and worn out so that the new can come in. And when you see this image up close, it's like a big wave that she's walking away from. Like, it's a whole different web, a whole different well of water, a whole different lifetime, you know, like it's going on a whole different parallel. And it's very yeah, absolutely, it feels like a whole new world. Exactly. And it's very, I want to say, in alignment with the energies as picking up the other day. Like, we're literally spiraling up, so we've done it so high or something that we're shifting to the new reality, the new spiral, the new whatever it's called, right? The new frequency, the new spiral. Like, I feel like it's a new spiral that we've anchored in. Yeah, it is the mermaids and dolphins. It is, yeah, I love this deck. This is like my original deck when I first had my spiritual awakening. This is the very deck that changed the game of life for me. Yeah. Yeah, and this, you just bringing that up just then reminded me of that very first thing, that I'm such a mermaid, and I've been having so many shifts that I'm like, actually I still freaking miss the ocean and I want to move there. So I think that's in the call. So hi Angie, hi Ariel. All right, so can I please have another round of yes please? So how you get a reading on my live stream is you say, yes, I'd love a live stream. Yes, I'd love a reading, or yes, Hannah, yes, please, whatever you'd like to type in. So I've got a fresh list of yes, pleases as I move to the next person. And you just got to stay live for the reading, because otherwise it's just not fair for the people who are waiting on live. Okay, Lavelle, I hope that I'm pronouncing that correctly. You are seeing this situation accurately, Horus. So there is a lot of Egyptian energy around at the moment because of the total solar eclipse, because of the eclipses. So Lavelle, I feel like you're clearing past life stuff. It feels similar to, what's her name? Lena. It feels similar to Lena, because you are seeing this situation accurately. And so the connection to the Egyptian stuff with the bottom card of the deck is also an Egyptian god, Thoth, which is about writing. There's 2 full moons that have come up for you, so be very mindful about what you're anchoring in. So full moon on both cards, check it out, right? I feel like you're clearing a lot of past life karma at the moment, a lot of past life breakages. And what I mean when I say that is, like, if we look at the webs of reality, and I always say that it's like, you know, yes, there's a spiral, but then there's also like webs of consciousness or webs of reality that different people are on at different times, right? And then we've got webs within the webs of the family and the relationships and everything. So there's all these webs within a web, but there's certain levels of frequency of realities that we're on, right? And so I feel like you're shifting to the next level of your life, of consciousness, of spiritual evolution, of everything that you've been working on through, towards, all of that. And so I feel like there's a lot of snapping going on for you. Funnily enough, we're in Third Eye Chakra Consciousness Week, all about seeing the truth. You are seeing the situation accurately. And this web of like consciousness, this next level web, this next layer, this, you know, when I say the threads are snapping, you're shifted up to this next level and you're like merging into this web, right? And so as this web is coming up, anything that's not coming with you, as this web, your web shifts up, you know, when a spider web is stretched and it stretches so much and then it snaps, you know, like it'll ping back and, you know, it'll snap. There's lots of threads snapping at the moment, right? So people dropping out of your life, you know, old habits. I think you just said you're in recovery, so it speaks to you. Yeah. So, you know, like old habits. I'm getting that saying in my head, old habits die young or something. I'm not really even sure why that's coming into my head. That's not something. Old habits. Oh, die hard. Oh yeah, it's a song, right? Meaning. So you used to say it's hard to stop doing things that one has been doing for a long time. Old habits die hard. Yeah. So are you finding it's hard going through that? Or I'm getting a sense of a lot of grief going on for you at the moment as well. Or maybe you're not. I'm wondering if you've been feeling a lot of anxiety, because I feel like there's a part of you that hasn't actually been able to grieve stuff, or you've been scared to, or you haven't been given the space to actually grieve properly about something in your life. I really feel that that's a big part of what's going on there as well. So you are seeing this situation accurately and writing. I feel like you're rewriting. Of course, this can mean like write a book, you know, rewrite your reality, etc., which I highly recommend, especially when you're like going through stuff and releasing different old webs. But also like rewriting the story of your life. But you're seeing, so the anxiety, you've never been able to grieve properly. And at the core of addictions, and not being, old habits die hard, not being able to let go of habits or addictions, is because if we're not able to grieve properly, those addictions don't disappear, because it's supporting us, because that pain is way too painful, right? So you are seeing this situation accurately. I want to say be very mindful about the intentions that you're setting now. We're in the dark moon phase right now. In 2 days, no, tomorrow is the total solar eclipse, right, on the new moon. So in 2 weeks time, like they say, the new moon is the perfect time to set intentions, and it becomes, you know, into reality by the full moon. I want to say, you know, be mindful in a sense of be careful, but it's not what I'm saying. I'm like, actually choose consciously what you'd like to write into your reality. Yeah, I'm a big one on journaling. I've written my reality into existence over and over and over again. I believe strongly in it. But the writing your reality, maybe some journaling practices, even writing and purging out of your heart. So sometimes if we're struggling to grieve or struggling to let go of something, writing about all the ways that we're having a hard time letting go of it, right? And you write up the top with the intention to purge and clear and release. These are all the reasons why I don't want to give up my addiction, because what the fuck am I going to do now? And well, what about this and this? And I actually don't want to, because this has been my life, and I do want to, but I don't want to. And what's actually happening? Like, write it out. And then, you know, when you finish that, put it in the bin and throw it out, or have a fire ceremony, whatever. It doesn't have to be elaborate. You can just literally throw it in the bin and release it. Yeah. So when you are purging out, I feel that you're going to get clearer, because I feel at the moment there's pieces of you that you're like, yeah, I'm doing this thing, but I actually in a confusion and mess, and I actually don't know what I'm doing, right? So to get clear, and what you are seeing is accurate, trust that, but I feel like some purging and rewriting will be able to help that come out. So you've been clean a year. Yeah, it's just learning the new ways of life. Yeah, and so usually I say it's like 18 months of a healing cycle, 18 months of a grieving cycle. So I do feel there is grief still sitting in your heart, though, that you haven't actually been able to let out or purge or let go of. So I highly recommend being able to, like, you know, maybe take the time to write, and yes, write new realities into existence. When you finish any purge, so important, make sure you spend the next like 10, 20, 30 minutes writing the positive things, rewriting your reality, yeah, into the good things that you want. So yes, rewriting that, seeing the truth, but I'm really getting strongly for you as well, Lavelle, around using this cycle right now, really intentionally, because of the total solar eclipse is really dropping out, right? The past lives and Egyptian stuff be really strong, reclaiming those gifts. And I was getting this message, I think it was in the Inner Circle the other day in Transcendence Reality Society, on the gateway of the heart, that right now there is a lot of Egyptian energy around. I feel like when the eclipses are around, there's a lot of Egyptian energy. And I was getting this message so strongly that without looking at the history right now, right? Or didn't even research it, whatever. So don't quote me on this, is what I'm saying. But from my understanding, Atlantis fell, and then Egypt rose. Then it was Egypt's reign, right? Just from my understanding of history. Again, don't quote me on it, right? Now, Atlantis fell because the heart of humanity was ripped out at that time. Now, what I mean by that is that was when all the chaos began. That was when all the experiments began. That was when all the mutilation began of animal, hybrid, human breeding, all the DNA changes, like all that stuff. That's when it began, and that's why Atlantis fell and sunk into the ocean, because all of that chaos started happening. So they tried to wipe it out and wipe out the memory. Egypt reigned then, and all the hybrid animals, like when you look at it, it's like, why are these all half human, half animals? Like, do you know what I mean? It kind of makes you question when you start wondering about stuff like this. Okay. And then so, thank you, Robinson. So Atlantis fell around 10 to 11,000 years ago, and Egypt rose around 5 to 6,000 years ago. Yeah. So then, you know, and then like, it's like, what happened to Egypt? And what happened to all these animals, right? Half hybrid, like what happened to them all? Like, if this is all in our history, then where are they today, right? Anyway, it's a whole nother discussion. The point that I'm sharing that is because I feel like around these eclipses and right now, what is happening is it feels very chaotic. It feels very intense. And little side note, I just said in my inner circle group as well, and like, instead of using the word intense, use the word expansion, because that is actually what's happening. The earth's dropping out from beneath you because you're expanding into the next level. So use the word expansion rather than intensity, or it's intense, right? It can help to shift the frequency of it a bit and allow you to rise into that. So it can feel really chaotic around eclipse season, that it has been for the past 6 to 12 weeks, right? And really now is at its peak, yeah? And it will tail end off, plus there's Mercury retrograde and all of that. It's really chaotic right now because these eclipses are so strong in Egyptian energy. Now, Egyptian energy, I feel, is like what goes on now, and why it's intense, and why we're expanding, and why the earth's dropping out, and why all this stuff happens, and why the past gets dragged up and stuff. Because I personally feel that what is happening is the dregs of the unconsciousness and the dregs of the, I want to say, being plugged into the matrix, if you may, and all those entanglements. That's what's releasing, right? As humans and consciousness and humanity is becoming more conscious, what is happening is all that stuff that was suppressed and unconscious and like we're plugged in through all these like cores. Like, you know, is this a thing? The animal human hybrids, is that a thing? Or is this, I want to say, the confusion of the plugs? Does that make sense? And yeah, I'm talking plugs and technical kind of like matrix style stuff, but when we look at energetically the confusion and releasing the heart of humanity, Atlantis fell, and then that carried over into the confusion and the chaos, carried over the there's a word that I'm trying to piece of. I can feel it, but I can't quite put a word to describe the energy of it, right? And so Alison says, doing the Dark Mother Grid meditation at the moment. Yeah. And so this is why doing the removal of the Dark Mother Grid or joining us for Transcendence, because the removal from the Dark Mother Grid is just one aspect of what we do in Transcendence. Right now, if you can think of like this portal, this time portal, right? Time's been feeling different. We've been feeling weird. You know, if we look at, say, 3 months either side of this day, for example, on the total of the eclipse season, right? 3 months either side, like this kind of container of time, it's been feeling different, weird, speeded up, not sleeping properly, just dark shadows, veils are thin, all of that stuff. If we look at it as a portal of energy, right, that is almost like, here's 2021 current reality of this lifetime, right, and then dropping down back into Egyptian time, Atlantis time. It's almost like through this time now of this 3 months either side of the eclipse, for example, is just like it's like a hole. It's like time has stopped in a way, and time has been pushed to the side, and all of this energy from the past is just here, right? And it's like a big chaotic mess. That's why we've got anxiety or griefs coming up, or all these old threads, or, you know, it's really tricky for me to describe. And this is so interesting that this is coming out through all these cards, right, through your reading. For some reason, I'm obviously needing to talk about this, right? And so when you can look at it as expansion, right, it's really, the reality is dropping out of the unconsciousness of all that chaotic mess from our past, and we're learning to rewrite history as it speaks, right? Oh, there's a message wanting to come through, and it's just kind of sitting there, and it's not really coming through. Yeah, obviously I'm needing to, I don't know, for some reason I need to talk about that. So let's just leave that for a moment. I can feel it's very big, wants to drop in. So let's see. So I think Basha says that America is the new Atlantis in a way. Yeah, I have heard similar things like that for sure. Okay. Expansion is a more positive, creating world. Yes, exactly. Yes. Kylie says, yes, being tested with my addictive behaviors. Yeah, and so when you can see I'm being tested with my addictive behaviors, changing those words to something along the lines of, I'm being tested with my addictive behaviors. Let's just move that. I've got more feelings coming up than I can deal with right now. And that's why I'm being tested with my addictions. Like, you don't want to add that, tested with it, but that's why I'm being tested with my addictions, is because actually there's a lot of feelings coming up right now, and I don't actually know how to handle them. I don't know how to feel them. These are really painful. These are really traumatic. These are really like all the things. And you have to remember that during these times, not only are we dealing with the current reality of what's happening. Remember, I spoke about this on the third eye chakra consciousness a couple of days ago on the layers, right? Oh, this is why we're talking about it, I guess. You know, it's like we're dealing with a current relationship, a current career, a current choice, a current life decision, a current whatever, right? And actually what's going on is all these deeper layers in this time portal right now. It's pretty big. So no wonder there's bigger feelings coming up that I'm wanting my addictions more. So uncomfortable, right? And that's why it's so important to like receive support during this time. So Alison says, so I'm being tested with loads of patterns and triggers, old patterns and triggers. Yeah, because it's all of this old stuff surfacing. And when you actually look at the depth of it, so, you know, again, this is third eye chakra consciousness. Like, it's such a sapphire energy. I don't know if you guys can actually, it's like I can taste the frequency of the energy you're talking about now is sapphire. So sapphire liquid crystal is spiritual truth, and that just dropped in as I'm talking about it. So it's really strong energy. It's like I can taste the liquid sapphire color. I don't know, can you guys feel the depth of this? So Alison, when you're saying being tested with loads of old patterns and triggers, when you can really look at the current patterns and triggers and kind of like, I want to say push it aside and actually go, oh, okay, where did this stem from underneath? And I know you do this because I used to work with you, you know, but at the same time, it's like, just be, I want to say be mindful, or just like go, wow, did this stem from Atlantis or Lemuria? I just got the message as well, deeper, like deeper, older, or Egypt. And you have to remember that time isn't real, and these realities still exist right now, and they're playing out right now. Yeah. So yes. Yeah. So Kylie said the gods got seduced by their creations. They wanted to experience the world they created. Yeah, it's such a deep conversation, that one. Yeah, so Alison says, I've been stopped this week. My hip has gone to make me stop and allow things to pass. Oh, yeah, if we don't get the message to stop, we get stopped. Past patterns has resurfaced for me the last 2-3 months that have triggered my anxiety, pushing away my twin flame. Definitely a big energy push happening. Yeah, so if you really look at, I'm saying like 3 months either side, and I guess that is right. It's a 6-month portal, but I'm like, oh, it's more like a, so what is it, 3 months, either like 3 months in total, which is what, oh my goodness, 12. So 6 weeks either side, but it does feel a little bit bigger than that. It's almost like when they talk about a Mercury retrograde, and that's like 3 weeks, but then there's 3 weeks either side of it. So it's kind of like 9 weeks in total that we're feeling the energy of it. This kind of eclipse portal feels like that. And it's so interesting that we just got that message around. It's almost like time is pulled apart and stopped while all this stuff surfaces. It's so interesting with the eclipse portal, because then if we look at what we're tapping into and talking about here about the hybrids and all that stuff. And this is interesting. This is transcendence. Transcendence dropped in late last year, September, October. All right, I think we started in October last year. Transcendence is my 6-week program. We're starting it next Friday. This is all this stuff. All the angels are bad. The angels, the archangels are actually pulling us off path. Spirituality is pulling us off path. And it's this a chaotic mess. Oh, there's a word that I'm trying, it's gonna drop in. It will drop in, I know it, because I can feel it sitting there. Just like I can, you know, when it's on the tip of your tongue, that feeling. So when these energies are on like the tip of your tongue, it's like this whole I've lost my train of thought now. Oh yeah, transcendence. Like, because all of this, to me, it's all one big psyop. Right, we talk about the matrix and we talk about all of that stuff. Like, this is what transcendence is. It's transcending, I want to say transcending the truth, right? Transcendence is literally all the spiritual stuff that they've done, the spiritual confusion. You know how they say they like have put in all the truth, but then they muck up the truth a little bit just to keep everybody confused. And that's why I teach trust your intuition. That's why I have it tattooed on my finger. That's why it's like, it's the biggest thing ever. You have to trust your intuition over anything and anyone says, even myself, doesn't feel right, trust intuition over me, right? But when we look at this, transcendence dropped in last year. And it's interesting the way that it dropped in, right? We're starting Friday week, early bird increases in less than 48 hours, and this is a 6-week journey. It is a lot of work, ultimately. It's the false light. Yeah, the false light, the false ascension matrix, that stuff. Thank you. That's not quite the words, but it is that. It's that stuff, right? That's all a big psyop. It's all false. It's all bad, you know? And, you know, a little side note, the shadow of the archangels that I'm releasing soonish, like probably the last half of the year, right? The shadow of the archangels is a 16-week journey, right? It's big. And it's literally integrating the light and the dark and also the balanced version, right? Because people like the angels are bad, and it's like, yeah, you know, talk about false light, yeah? The false light is like the Luciferic influence of the archangel, right? Each archangel holds a consciousness. Each archangel holds a purpose, right? And there's a shadow and there's a dark side and a light side of each of those, yeah? The Luciferic energy is the false light. It's Lucifer. Yeah, the dark side is Ahriman, it's the contraction. Lucifer is the light, you know, and the archangels have each of these. Yeah, and that's why on this huge, it is big, 16-week journey, and I've been like really sitting into this, because as soon as we drop into throat chakra, this is where it's coming from, is the throat chakra consciousness, is speaking the truth but living it. Are we cut off from our heart? The heart of humanity is being ripped out. Yeah, so the shadow of the archangels is a 16-week journey that is, we're not starting this yet, but I've really been sitting in it, because with so many people saying they're bad, and I'm like, that's one side of them. There's a light side and a dark side to everything, and then there's a balanced, integrated version of it. And if you're in either side, yeah, of course it's going to be bad, whether it's the dark or the light, or it doesn't matter, right? There's both sides that need integrating. We live in this reality that is a, you know, a dark and a light. It's a polarity consciousness, yeah? And to transcend that is integrating both the dark and the light, so that I want to say you're outside of it. You're outside of Earth's laws. Like, this is a big thing. Oh my goodness. Okay. Obviously there's a lot that needed to come out about this, yeah? Okay. Just checking these comments here. Yeah, so Carly says, I've been having meditation experiences with others, being telepathic like myself, not able to do it with everyone. Yeah, definitely not able to do it with everyone until people are training on it. So Lavelle says, how much does the class cost? I want to learn these things. Which class? Because I just spoke about a couple of them at the same time. So Transcendence, thank you, Tamara. Tamara's just dropped the link in the comments here. So Transcendence is what we start Friday week, and the investment increases in about 48 hours from now. And we're starting Friday week. That's a 6-week journey. It is quite deep, it is quite involved, but it will transcend you. It will shift you. It will shift you out of that dark matrix and into the light, and being able to stabilize that expansion rather than tipping the toe in and then stepping back into the contraction and into the trauma and into the drama and into those dark cycles that make people want to leave the planet. Transcendence will shift your frequency out of that. Yeah. Okay, so Alison says, I love trusting intuition, opened up so much for me, best thing I did. Yes, I'm so proud of you, Alison. So interesting, my hip has been giving me so many contractions, so painful, like birth contractions. Do you know someone else said something too, that they've been having pelvic pain? And they're like, but I know I'm birthing these realities. I'm still going to get it checked out at the doctor anyway, but I've been birthing these realities, so I would be surprised if they find anything, you know? So yes. So Kylie says, Abraham and Jerry Hicks are false big time. And I'm like, yes and no. And this is the thing, right? People are like, the moon is like looshing all that energy. I'm like, is it? Or is that what you're experiencing from one aspect of it? And how do you integrate those energies so that it doesn't affect you? The false psyop is the fear that keeps you trapped. We can integrate anything and shift 100%, but you have to have the willingness. You have to do the work. You have to turn up. You have to have a strong sense of self, like all of these pieces, right? So thank you, Tamara. Tamara's just dropped the what's it called? Trust Intuition link in there as well. And Kylie says, yes, true. And that's the thing, right? When people spiritually awaken, the first thing they talk to is angels. And then I feel like, you know, this whole experience is like, is spirituality real or not? Is reality real or not? Like, who actually really knows? But what we do know is our intuition and our feeling and the reality we experience by what we create through our body, mind, soul, muscle memory, like all the things, yeah? And so whether you say something is false or real, that's still in the polarity of like day, light, dark, night. Like you're still in this ping pong, ding, 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 reality reaction. Like, oh my God, like no wonder I'm fucking falling apart. It's like, whew, until we step out of that frequency of the polarity of the dark and light, and we can actually shift and integrate these things. Okay, because they're there and we get triggered and all of that for a reason, right? And it's not like, oh, you're triggered for a reason, deal with it. It's kind of like, if you really want to shift your reality, your life, and actually change your frequency, we need to integrate these things, not just like bad. It's that, like, look at the fingers that we're pointing back at ourselves. This is what we need to integrate. This is what I started talking about on this live stream, right? Integrating what we're judging, yeah? Natasha says, I love how you can say so much so quickly. I'm like, it's just channeling through. Oh my goodness. All right. Let me just check these comments. Yes. So Ilana, I think that's how you pronounce your name, had a chakra read and cleanse yesterday. Everything out of balance, especially my heart. Yes. So we can start to learn to integrate our own chakras at all. So in my Clear and Activate pack, I'm not sure if you've got it. If you go to realityawareness.com, and if you just scroll down a little bit, you see the pink button and it says about the Clear and Activate pack, and then it'll take you to another page and you can sign up for that. In there is the clairsentient sponge clearing. Highly recommend. It's like the empath's dream. You have to have that tool. Obviously the chakra meditation is in there. There's a shadow meditation in there so you can integrate your triggers. And there's also the Meet Your Star Being guide that helps to shift and activate your frequency as well. So Jay says, are mediums real at all? Well, I consider myself a medium because I'm an intuitive healer, because we sense spirit, we sense, you know, when we have a spiritual awakening, we start to sense energy, we start to sense presence in the house, we start to sense angels, dark spirits, light spirits, all the things, right? That means if you're sensing energy, you're a medium. Now, I spoke about this 2 days ago on the third eye chakra consciousness live stream, so you can go and check that out. If you scroll down my page or if you comment third eye, we'll send you that live stream. So I went into detail about it on there because as an intuitive healer, like if you if you're talking to an angel, you can talk to a spirit on the other side. Like, there's no difference there. It just depends, and this is what I was going into on the live stream, it depends on the skill and the training of the person who's doing that channeling, right? So yeah, there's so much I could say about that, but I did go into that deeply actually on that live stream. Funnily enough, we're on Third Eye Chakra Consciousness Week. So what was I going to say? So yeah, you can check out that live stream if you'd like more information about that, because I feel strongly that mediums are real, because intuition is real and we all sense stuff. So we can sense a spirit, we can sense somebody who's passed over, but it depends on the skill of that person, their training and their intuition and all that sort of thing, as to, you know, if you know that that's a good spirit, bad spirit, is it a demon, is it a light angel or a dark angel, is it a fallen angel, like, do you know what I mean? And in Trust Intuition, I teach all this stuff, because if you've had a spiritual awakening, you're going to sense all this stuff. And if you don't know what to do with it, you get scared and then bad things happen because you're in fear and blah, blah, blah. Like, do you know what I mean? So anyway, so Ilana, so I definitely go and grab my chakra clearing meditation out of there, because the more that you clear your own chakras, the more you're going to be able to check if your chakras are in balance and be able to speak to your chakras, understand what to do. In the Crystalline Chakra Activation series, so that's a different one. That's available as we go through this chakra consciousness journey over this 9 weeks. There is 9 specific crystalline chakra activations in there. In that crystalline chakra activation, so you can find that on my website as well, or just send me a message for the crystalline chakra activations, or you can comment activation below. A lot of links are dropping in this live stream. In the crystalline chakra activations, like I said, there's 9 specific meditations to activate the crystalline energy of your chakras. Okay, so it's different to just a normal chakra clearing, for example. In that pack, there is a PDF that I've put in there, and I can't remember off the top of my head what I've called it, but it's like chakra diagnostics or something. And it really helps to understand the relationship, say, with your third eye to your heart. So in third eye chakra is all about relationships. And we have a relationship to our phone, a relationship to our card deck, a relationship to the reading we receive from our card deck. We have a relationship to me, to you, to all the thing, right? And in that chakra PDF that I've got in that pack is like an understanding of the dark and the light, so the negative and the positive, of how the third eye relates to, say, your ear chakras, or how your third eye relates to your throat chakra. And then there's affirmations that you can use to help rebalance them. And then there's the third eye chakra relating to your heart chakra. And so yes, we can get a healing and get someone to open our chakras and stuff. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, because it's an awesome place to start. But what I'm passionate about is teaching you how to do that and tune into your own energy and tune in and clear your chakras and clear your heart and open your heart and all that amazing stuff, so that that skill is strengthening your intuition. That skill is being able to understand your energy, and if you're carrying somebody's energy or somebody else's energy or your energy or all of that. Thank you. Tamara's just dropped that link in the comments as well. Tamara, if you can go through and send people that specific link on the comments of who's already put in the activation, would be amazing. So, and it really highly like teaches you about your intuition. Like every time you do a meditation, every time that you, like sit down and connect and do a healing or whatever, like you're strengthening your muscles, right? And when we do that, that is like the best form of protection. And then obviously there's certain stages, and then you kind of get to a point and you're like then ready to like, you're ready to take the next step and understand deeper about past lives or how that relates to something else, or you know what I mean? So yeah, so really powerful PDF that's in there. All right, so let me just check these comments. So Ariel says, I've had a tough time trusting my intuition. The head and the heart are conflicted. Yeah, sometimes, and usually that is because we've got a lot of grief in our heart. We've been through a lot of heartache, heartbreak, pain, trauma, people betraying us, letting us down, and we kind of go, ugh. And I just want to say the past maybe 2 to 3 years, there's been a lot of light workers affected by that. I think there's something big time energetically going on as well. And I feel like there's also a lot of people starting to come out of that bubble, thank goodness. So you're in the right place. You're in the right place. So Elena says something definitely sounds like something I need. Yes, awesome. So Lavelle says I've been told multiple times I'm an empath. Yes. And so in my, Clear and Activate pack, like I said, you can go to realityawareness.com and it's just the first little button that you can see there. Like I said, is the clairsentient sponge clearing meditation in there. Make sure you log in to, once you sign up for it, you'll get access to the members website. You can log in and then you can go through the training videos and explain exactly how to use them, why we use them, how to get the best out of them, how to use them when you're washing the dishes or whatever as well, right? So when you understand that you're an empath, then it's like, okay, how do I be an empath in the modern day world? How do I not get flawed by energy? How do I do all these things that enables me to, be able to still function in this world, right? So, yeah. So JC says, thank you, as I've had too many bad experiences, but we'll check your video. Yeah, so I guess it just depends on, if you're getting readings from mediums or something, it depends on their training, it depends on how clear a channel they are, it depends on, there's so many factors in that. And like I said, if you're having a bad experience with it, it just depends on your training, your skills, learning different skills so that you don't get, bad experiences sort of thing, And again, this is what I teach, deeply in trust intuition. This is like how we become a certified intuitive healer. This is my main course on how we do that. And we start the training for that on the 5th of July. So in a couple of weeks. But this is where we deep dive into all of that stuff. And as I said, you can become a certified intuitive healer from that course. And in that is even if you don't actively become a healer, the course has everything that I speak of in depth, and clear channel, and how to decipher what's what in the spirit world, and how to not be scared, and all of those things. Yeah, so important. Yes. Yep. So I've been told multiple times I'm an empath, but I'm not sure. And I want to say, if you're sensitive, if you're intuitive, if you pick up things intuitively, feel things, whatever, you're an empath. For me personally, there's lots of different labels: medium, healer, intuitive, psychic, empath. For me, yeah, they've all got slightly different meanings, but underneath, all the same thing. When we really think about it, they're all the same. Yeah, they're always going to come back to the same things. Oh, you sense energy. Oh, you're sensitive to other people's words, and blah blah blah. Right. So Natasha says, loving the crystalline chakra activations. Yeah, you're so welcome. They're so powerful. I love it. Yes. Yes. So Elena says, I would like to learn to do it myself. The reading was just helping a friend while she is learning. Yeah. Oh, perfect. Perfect. Even better. So yeah, there's lots of ways, but yeah, definitely start with my Clear and Activate pack. If you want to take them deeper with the chakra activations, the crystalline chakra activations, definitely grab that pack for sure. Thank you so much, Tamara, for sending them those links. So Catherine says, I used to be such a spiritual person, but I'm feeling really disconnected. I spoke to that. Got it. Just finding these comments. Okay, so JC says, how do we learn to see and recognize signs from loved ones and eliminate the thought of it being coincidence, and then how can we respond to them? Awesome question. So I would say it's not a coincidence, and to not doubt it. So the biggest thing about, how do we learn to see and recognize signs from loved ones? Well, that shows me, because when you say, and then how do we eliminate it being a coincidence? And I'm like, well, obviously, you're already seeing the signs, or you wouldn't be starting to doubt it and then think it's a coincidence and brush it off. And this is where a lot of people trust their intuition, but they brush it off, or they receive their intuition, but they brush it off. Yeah. I think they've gone really gold and shiny because I think the sun's starting to go down here. Oh, and now it's going even more shiny. Okay. I don't know what's happening with the lightning. The lightning. Oh, there we go. That's better. All right. That's better. My goodness me. The sun went down outside, so that's changed the entire environment. Okay, so do not doubt. Simple, right? How do we do not doubt? That's, I want to say, a skill. It's a mastery. It's a practice. It's a discipline. Just like we wouldn't go to the gym and expect to lose 20 kilos overnight, to expect that we're just going to trust our intuition and never doubt ever again, it doesn't happen overnight, right? It's a skill, it's a mastery, it's a discipline, it's a practice. We get good at any skill. Practice, 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 practice. Yes, it is a choice as well to go, you know what? I'm just going to trust from now on, right? And you might get a sign and you're like, oh, and then you're like, oh no, that's just, oh no, I'm going to choose to trust. Oh, okay, this is actually a sign. And then the next question, when you said, how do we respond to them? We just talk to them out loud. We talk to them in our mind. We can write them a letter, because you know what? They can hear you even if you can't hear them. They're right there. Yeah? So that would be a definite starting point. But definitely watch that live stream too from the other day for the third eye chakra. So Lavelle says, I get drained around people so quickly, especially people who have a lot of negative energy around them. Yeah, me too. I just like choose not to be around them if I have to be, and not for long. Very conscious of my boundaries and how important that is to not be around people who are negative, because it does affect me. And whilst I can handle it, I choose to not spend lots of time with those people. Yeah. So, and then obviously clearing out energy and all those clearing energy practices like I teach in Clear and Activate, and all those things are so important. Plus exactly what I teach in Trust Your Intuition, as I've said. Yes, you're so welcome. All right, guys, I feel like the messages have come out. I'm going to jump off this live stream. Remember, transcendence increases in about 48 hours. So does Money Honey, actually. So the investment is increasing for both of those. The Money Honey masterclass, where I'm diving into really owning your wealth, understanding your energy and your frequency, and the things that I've learned over the past 5 years, 10 key factors to shifting your wealth creation, your money reality, therefore your reality, because everything, I want to say everything comes back to that in a way. It does, right? So we're going to really dive deep into that on the masterclass. I'm really excited about that. I'm excited about transcendence starting at the same time, all whilst we're still in the 9-week chakra journey, the crystalline chakra journey that we've got going on right now. We've got the total solar eclipse tomorrow. Remember that. Tune into that frequency. I might do a live stream around the time of that, and we'll see what channels through. Super lovely to have you all here. Sending you so much love, and I shall see you very soon. Mwah. Bye.